Hi, and welcome to episode 11 of the Zip Code Bros. I'm your host, Michael John Gallagher II, and today we are talking about Shawn Michaels, HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, the Showstopper. And as we go around the horn with us, as always, is Ben Jones. Ben, how are you doing today?
Doing really good, my friend. I've had a busy weekend socializing, so I'm glad that today I can just take it easy and be here with you guys.
Fantastic. James Sorensen, in about 5 seconds, how are you doing, sir?
Good. I took my niece out today and saw a movie and hung out with her this afternoon before that, but it was a good day.
Excellent. Adam, how is you doing today, sir?
And I'm doing good. I've been having some stuff going on at work, but it is what it is. My amazing wife has been spoiling me this whole month leading up to my birthday, from getting me the upgrade to be a top guy with ad-free shows. Jeff Jarrett called me on Monday.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and he and I had a great talk. Kind of got some insider information about when AEW might be coming back to South Carolina.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, and went to last night's and next week's SmackDown.
How was SmackDown?
And SmackDown was a blast. Great seats. Again, wife just spoils me. She's the best. And great show. Y'all are in for something really good next week for sure as well. I don't want to spoil anything.
All right, I like it. Even though I had no idea what happened last night, no idea what happened. I did not keep up with it, but I should. But good stuff. I am doing well, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Today's another week of training, but I have a job that I don't dislike, so life is good. Do you want to just point out that a little bit later we'll be going over just maybe talking a little bit more deeper about each other. So we'll probably maybe keep that in the notes. I don't know. But right now, let's do a little This Week in Pro Wrestling History.
All right. This week in pro wrestling history. May 4th, 1990, or I'm sorry, May 14th, 1990. I can't read. Ole Anderson replaces Ric Flair as head booker of WCW. May 14th, 1995, the first In Your House pay-per-view airs, where they gave away a house to a fan. Kind of went down the rabbit hole with that one. They never moved into the house or anything. They lived in Colorado. The house is in Florida. They weren't going to uproot their lives just because they want a house.
What did they do? Did they keep it?
I think they just told WWE no, and WWE sold it, or they sold it. I don't know.
Oh, no kidding.
May 14th, 1998, Taz introduces the FTW Championship. I believe that was at a show that had a long name with Jerry Seinfeld in the title of it for some reason. May 17th, 1963, Bruno Sammartino defeats Nature Boy Buddy Rogers for the WWF Championship. This is the first time the championship changes hands, and Sammartino would go on to reign for almost 8 years.
Wow.
May 18th, 2015, Kevin Owens makes his main roster debut by answering John Cena's United States Championship Open Challenge. And May 19th, 1996, the infamous curtain call happens.
I was just watching the curtain call, getting ready for the Shawn Michaels episode today. I was just downstairs eating my dinner, and the curtain call came on. So very cool.
As far as birthdays are concerned, Matt Cardona was born May 14th, 1985.
Woo.
Dr. Death Steve Williams, May 14th, 1960. Vader, May 14th, 1955. Dragon Lee, May 15th, 1995. Ron Simmons, May 15th, 1958.
Damn.
Kevin Von Erich, May 15th, 1957.
We met Sorensen and I met Ron Simmons down in San Antonio at WrestleCon while we were down there for the Royal Rumble. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And was able to get just for a quick brief thing, we were able to have the damn echo throughout the entire floor at the there. Anything
Oh,
about Jim Duggan? Anything on Jim
pretty cool.
Duggan?
No, nothing on Jim. Where was I? Oh, Mike Kanellis, May 16th, 1985. Alex Wright, May 16th, 1975. The Godfather, May 16th, 1961. Cash Wheeler, May 17th, 1987. Dave and Earl Hebner, May 17th, 1949. Colton Gunn, May 18th, 1991. The Blue Meanie, May 18th, 1973. Kamala, May 18th, 1950. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, May 18th, 1943. Kip Sabian, May 19th, 1992. Alistair Black, May 19th, 1985. Andre the Giant, May 19th, 1946. Kota Ibushi, May 20th, 1982. And to round it out, host of Oh You Didn't Know, Road Dogg Jesse James, May 20th, 1969.
Nice. And my buddy AJ Faris, May 16th, just had his birthday. So happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday to AJ. Oh, damn. Spilled my water.
All right. So this week our wrestling spotlight is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. So I think we're just gonna kind of popcorn it this week. You know, some favorite versions of HBK. You know, you have your Rockers version, you have your Sexy Boy version that's coming out with Sherry. You have your your face version who just won the title from Bret Hart. You got DX version. You have him when he came back in 2002. You have his heel version against Hogan. I don't know, man. You got a couple of different versions of Shawn Michaels. What are we thinking?
And then DX in 2006. Yeah.
And the DX in 2006, exactly. So there's several versions, but I'll kind of loop the DX version in together.
Well, I was
Even
thinking
even though they definitely were, to your point though, you're probably right. They're much different characters.
two different, lot less edgy in the second and third go round than it was the first two.
Oh, definitely different characters.
Let's go with Ben Jones first,
Yeah.
Why is that, Jimmy?
because you're not a
Why do you
huge.
say
Because you're
I'm not
Bret
a huge
Hart
fan of Shawn Michaels? Bret Hart, any day of the week.
Oh, God.
Hey. Okay. So look, I respect Shawn Michaels. I do. I just didn't enjoy his sexy boy gimmick. That's it. Because not only did I not like the character, but he wasn't in the best stage of his life, personally or professionally. And I think he was just an arrogant prick. And I much preferred him when he came back in 2002. It was like he had his shit together, and his character was a bit more serious. And I felt that, like, his 2002 match against Triple H at SummerSlam, that's one of the all-time greats. Like, knowing that he's come back from such a bad injury and to do a match like that, first time back, I mean, that was cool. But yeah, that whole mid to late 90s era of Shawn Michaels, not a fan of. But I was a fan of him in the Rockers. So
Jimmy, what's your favorite version of Shawn Michaels?
I mean, I'm just an all-around Shawn Michaels fan, because actually his feud with McMahon in 2005-06 to make the build up to Mania 22 with no holds barred was, I've gone back, because that was actually the match that got me into wrestling, was Michaels McMahon at 22.
Interesting.
At Mania 22, when Shawn caught Shawn right before on a 20-foot high ladder onto Vince McMahon, who was in a trash can on top of a table. And then afterwards, I'm going to kick your teeth down your throat. And then he just super kicks him.
Thanks for the bad impression.
Oh.
Adam, what's your
Well-
favorite version of Shawn Michaels?
I like Shawn when he was with DX, both versions of it. Just at any time after his return in 02, those were probably my two favorite versions of him. Just all around great performer, much better than Bret Hart, just like Road Dogg Jesse James.
Adam, how dare you?
It's
I
a tough
told you.
one. It's a tough question. You know, growing up for me, it was Brett and Shawn with my two guys, right? And you could sprinkle some guys here and there. I was a big Mr. Perfect fan as well, but my two guys growing up were always Brett and Shawn. So I never looked at it like one was better than the other. I just liked them both the same. But if you had to pick one, I couldn't pick one. It's tough.
It's a little bit like in the NBA when there was the whole Kobe versus LeBron thing. It's like they're both great. They're both awesome,
Or-
but you take sides.
Kobe and Michael Jordan. LeBron's out of that question.
Jimmy, do you want me to get on a plane right now? I'll come and
Go
sort you out for that.
fly the
trash.
30 hours so I super kick
Come
you back
on.
into
I
no
was
heat. No heat.
I was talking to my brother today about the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm like, let's just like no. Like we were joking and he's like, that's subjective because he was like, you know, people think different. I'm like, no, I'm like, there's nothing subjective about the best basketball player of all time. I'm like, it's Michael Jordan. I'm like, there's nothing subjective about that.
Right.
But do you see what I mean with like Brett and Shawn? It was like 1A and 1B, like and Kobe and LeBron, like same sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
like they're both awesome, but you had your preference. So
Yes.
Oh. Kobe came first, so 1A. I'm not a
It
huge basketball guy,
depends. I
but
mean, it really depends. I mean, Kobe was great. I loved Kobe. I mean, I personally am a huge Kobe fan, so I'm not gonna knock him, but LeBron is awesome too. You know, LeBron is doing his thing and
flops too much.
what?
anyway, back to Shawn Michaels.
I said he flopped.
I like
said,
it. Back to Shawn Michaels. So my favorite version of Shawn Michaels is definitely the DX version of Shawn Michaels. I was a little chicken shit little teenager when I was, 14, 15 years old, and I loved DX, and I loved the fact that I loved those guys. That was it. That was my thing. And when he was a heel, when he was a sexy boy character, I was all over it. I was a little pretty boy, so I loved every second of it. So I love Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was my guy, and just a couple moments that I'll tell you, I was out of wrestling for maybe a year and a half between 94 to 96. I kind of took a break watching wrestling, and the match that got me back into wrestling was Mankind versus Shawn Michaels
At Mind Games, is that the one?
at my games. Yeah.
Yeah, great match.
So what happened was we had the illegal cable box so we could watch all the pay-per-views, and it was during the summertime, and I'm like, I got nothing else to do right now, and wrestling came on, so I'm watching it. I couldn't tell you any other matches on the show, but I remember watching that match, Shawn Michaels versus Mankind, and just being like this is what's great about wrestling. This is what's great about telling the story. And looking back, you got to give Mick Foley his due as well.
Shout out to the Black Box back in the day,
Right?
Gallagher's day.
Heck yeah. And I'm watching his documentary, and you just don't realize, like, I had to write down things like ladder match and Diesel and Jericho feud and Mankind, like things you don't remember because he's done so much.
Well, it's crazy to think about how that feud in particular, how Shawn Michaels is in the ring, Jericho's music hits, and it's your doppelganger, Mr. Gallagher, Christian, is like the one who shows up at the entrance way, and it's like, where the hell is Jericho? And here comes Jericho just sneak attacking Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that was a fantastic feud.
Beside that match.
And then you've also got like the ladder match versus Razor Ramon.
Yeah, exactly.
Another iconic match.
And then
His two matches with Taker at the WrestleMania.
Taker. I mean, we're gonna jump into matches. I mean, that is one thing where I'm like, same thing, not necessarily getting out of wrestling, but maybe not paying attention to wrestling as much as I'm used to. And I'm watching WrestleMania over my buddy AJ's house, the one who we just wished a happy birthday to. And Shawn Michaels and Taker, WrestleMania 25. And I'm like,
Right.
huh, we got something here. And you watch the match is nearly perfect.
Well, they've had so there's 3 iconic matches that maybe 4 that don't get talked about as much. Michaels and Taker. First Hell in a Cell, or that are probably 4 of the greatest Shawn Michaels matches of all time. Taker and Shawn at Mania 25, the first Hell in a Cell, the retirement match, and then the end of an era that didn't necessarily, Michaels wasn't necessarily like he's playing a key role as the referee, like trying to be as neutral as can be, but when push comes to shove, will he try to screw the Undertaker? Bam, super kicks him and just and then the facial expression of Shawn just in the corner after almost screwing the Undertaker out of the WrestleMania streak, just all around one of the best storytellers of the last 30 years.
Well, Jimmy, and also to piggyback off what you just said, is Flair's last match in WWE. You know, with Shawn doing the whole "I'm sorry, I love you," and then the super kick, and that was a good match too. So, yeah, a very special moment that
had a lot more iconic matches than we realize.
Who, Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, that Shawn Michaels had a lot more.
I mean, you could just think about it. I mean, his matches versus Cena at WrestleMania, his match versus Cena on Raw in London, his feud with Triple H was fantastic. You know, Ben, you just talk about him and Flair. I mean, there's a ton of iconic matches.
Or Shawn and Brett in the mid-90s, like how they, with their constant feud.
Owen and Shawn had a couple of good matches.
Unfortunately, the events after Survivor Series, I think, taint that match, like with everything that's surrounding it, the backstory, the backstage stuff. I think taints that match a little bit. I think, in my opinion.
Say that one more time, Shawn. Say that one more time, Shawn.
That match gets tainted.
Okay.
At Survivor Series 97, the match itself,
not many people like remember too much of the actual match, just the finish.
But the match itself was very good before they started. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I feel like it gets tainted because of the backstage stuff and then the finish.
Oh, of course.
Post finish. What do you think, Mr. Jefferson?
You know, Shawn, to me, was one of those, in baseball, the 5-tool player. He had it on the mic, he had it in the ring, and he could do comedy stuff. When they had to tone down DX, in the PG era and all that, and super kicking Stan, because Eric Bischoff said that they didn't know controversy, so
yeah. Well, it was Shawn Spears, but what? Hey, buddy, what's your name?
Jimmy, he said his name was Stan. I don't know who the Shawn Spears guy is, but that guy was Stan. All right,
I know.
Shawn Spears, isn't that Ty Dillinger?
Huh?
You could have said Britney Spears.
Ty Dillinger, Shawn Spears.
Yeah, that's the big famous bit where Triple H, is DX or backstage and says,
typing with his index finger on the computer, and it's
his rivalry. I think that's a rivalry that doesn't go talked about. Is Shawn's rivalry with technology? There are backstage segments in the 90s, and then they did the NXT In Your House, and Shawn did not seem to figure out computers until very recently. I mean, he's, like Jimmy said, he's typing with one finger. He can't figure it out. He's hitting the computer. And then he's finally solved his issue. Someone pointed out in another backstage segment in NXT, he was typing on a laptop and someone was talking. He was typing.
He plays the old goofy guy pretty well, huh?
He really does, man.
And then
Is that because of his eyes aren't quite aligned?
I think no, I mean maybe, but I think just started off as I'll just do this funny thing of like typing with one finger and then a callback and all that. So
and then
what?
and then remember the Christmas bit that DX did in 08, 09 when they were doing the for the SmackDown 2009. He's like he was holding the video game case upside down. It's like for Y box. Was it Y box Xbox or Matchbox 370 or something like that. Like he was butchering the entire things. And just like Kelly is like, you mean Xbox 360 and PS3? Like, get out of here.
So I just, he made you feel, he can make you laugh. He can make you pissed off depending on how you felt about him or inspired, whatever. So, he is definitely one of the all-time greats. I know we talked about it earlier, but that unsanctioned match he had against Triple H in 02 is definitely one of my favorite of his matches. Undertaker and him at the WrestleManias. That Hell in a Cell, not just because of the match, but the debut of Kane and all that. So the list could just go on and on and on about the great feuds and segments and all the great things that he's done.
It's crazy to think he's had 2 unsanctioned matches. That one with Triple H and one with Jericho at Unforgiven 08. Just how he mutilated Jericho. Later in the night, Jericho wins it, and then the next night it's like Jericho shows the scars of the battle he just went through with Michaels, and then the following week Jericho has that cage match, and then Michaels comes out on a ladder. And it's like a ladder match for the World Heavyweight title. It was a feud that was only supposed to last one pay-per-view, and it lasted throughout the entire summer of 08.
Yeah.
That was great.
Well, their match at WrestleMania 19 was also a classic as well.
Yeah, it was.
Shawn Michaels and Jericho.
Yeah, it was.
Sure.
Shawn Michaels. I mean, incredible. I mean, what about some moments Shawn had? Moments like 2 of my favorite moments is the barbershop window is definitely a moment that I'll never forget. And then also when DX reunited in 06, that was a moment that I'll never forget. Like, what about some moments with Shawn?
I was going to say the barbershop when he made Brutus Beefcake a household name from that segment. Yeah.
Or Conrad Thompson.
Seriously.
DX coming in on a legitimate tank this time, not a Jeep with a gun that they just threw on it, but a tank, and for their match against Cody and
Legacy
Jr. Yeah, Legacy.
At SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
The stupid kick, which to stand. Don't know, controversy.
Them having to go under the ring and go on trial for how they treated Hornswoggle.
Little people.
Yeah.
Mr. Fuji, the DX barbecue in 06.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the Iron Man match?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
I'm gonna fall in the Conrad Thompson camp here. I don't like Iron Man matches.
I'm with you.
There's only one Iron Man match I like, and that was the Randy Orton John Cena one from Bragging Rights 09.
Okay.
I know this match is going to go 60 minutes no matter what, so why do I need to watch all 60? I'll just wait till 5-minute mark and figure out the winner from there.
No,
I think from a pure wrestling standpoint, though, like you've got the 2 best in the business at their peak, and to see them like go that long with with that quality of a match, I thought that's what was like respectable about it. Like storytelling wise, I mean, neither here nor there, but what they actually did in the ring was very impressive.
Yeah.
For sure.
I forced myself to watch the whole thing, and it was entertaining for what it was. I think it told a good story about two guys who didn't want to, I love the fact that nobody scored a pinfall. Like, I think that was great. I'm not a fan of Iron matches where it's like seven, it's like 5-4 or like 6-7. It's like, come on, man.
I think with that concept alone, I think it's because I mean it's the only Iron Man match in Mania history.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that.
But at the same time, it was an experiment that came down to one man's opinion. That one man that made that happen, that made it so successful. Legendary Hall of Famer, God rest his soul, Pat Patterson.
Patterson, yeah, of course. And I'm sure Bret Hart had a little bit to do with it.
No Bret.
I mean, that's when those
Tough
two guys
crowd,
were on
Jimmy.
the top of the game.
Maybe like
You
1%.
got, what did you guys think of Hogan versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam?
Hated it.
I gotta say, I didn't until Conrad went over, I think, on what happened when or what one of those podcasts, and I knew the real story. I thought the story behind that match was Shawn heard that Hogan said, well, Shawn doesn't know how to sell. So Shawn, most people hear that and they're like, well, I'm not going to sell for you at all on purpose. Shawn took it the completely other direction and decided to oversell everything.
Right.
And thinking that was a story, to watch that match and watch Hogan be so damn pissed off, but not know what to do either at the same time.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious to me.
I was on.
I thought it was just unprofessional.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like a pay-per-view. It's not a house show. Like, people are paying money to see a good match between two of the biggest stars ever, and you're going to be a dick about it and oversell. Like, it was just crap.
At least he was selling. I mean, and again, Hogan wasn't the greatest.
I don't think it was as bad as everybody says it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody. I don't think it was as bad as everybody says it was, but I also don't think that, like you said, I think that it was a little over the top that what Shawn was doing.
That's why I only got one, but I think what people probably more remember about it more is when the Shawn Michaels impersonated Hogan. Yeah, like he like cramp.
Yeah,
on the Larry King show.
Stuff. Yeah, no, that was great stuff.
Brother.
Yeah, no, it was great stuff.
Cramp.
I mean, nobody's a better dick than Shawn Michaels, honestly.
Bret
Yeah.
Hart.
That'll make a good T-shirt, Gallagher.
Right? No one's a better dick than Shawn Michaels. Well, that's why. Why do you think I love him so much?
Big Dick Johnson, the only other one.
What?
Ben, I got. You remember the Big Dick Johnson segments with DX?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are good moments. Yeah, those guys. They did some good stuff and some good matches. I mean, I loved Rated RKO versus them. I loved Legacy versus them. A lot of that stuff was good when they came back. I loved them against the Spirit Squad when they came back. It was great stuff.
I remember the DX press conference. Where Shawn
That
Michaels
was
was.
awesome too.
Oh, when they got the letter from the USA Network and decided to say all the words.
Yeah,
Yeah, how he didn't sleep with that woman and that he was up all night, kind of
Yeah.
it was up all
Yeah.
night.
And then what was the other one? Michaels. And then but also back to again how so originally at WrestleMania 23 it was supposed to be Cena and Triple H again.
Yep.
Triple H got hurt. in the Royal Rumble, it came down to Michaels and Taker. That was a great ending to that Rumble.
Yes, it was.
And then they had the tag team match at No Way Out, which was the first pay-per-view actually I ever made my dad buy. Was the Shawn Michaels, team of John Cena and Shawn Michaels team up to take on Batista and Undertaker at No Way Out 07. And then the feud and then I was able to convince I had an uncle that bought WrestleMania 23, and then the main event was Cena versus Michaels at Ford Field, which is absolutely one of my most favorite manias for many different reasons, just because it was my first one, I guess, in particular. But Cena and Michaels headlining that one, just absolute great storytelling leading into that match. And then a great match itself.
Very nice. Yeah, they were awesome. Any final thoughts on Shawn Michaels?
I think I think like it's impressive because I first started watching Shawn when he was in the Rockets. It was actually WrestleMania 5 versus the Twin Towers.
Yep.
And to see his development from a tag team wrestler to become arguably top 2 all time overall. Yeah, just incredible longevity. He's done so many different angles and characters and so many great matches. Like, yeah, it's just amazing to see where he started and where he ended up.
Is he the best of all time?
It's up for debate.
Right. He's definitely in the conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I was on the Kickout crew, and in the match that we covered, one of the matches we covered was Shawn versus Marty at the Rumble 93. And I just remember watching that match back, just being like, they both could go like nothing. Like there was not 1 second of that match was boring. It was telling a story the entire time. Marty could go, and Shawn was able to go, and Sherry was a great part of that match. And you just saw that you could see it blooming. You could see the seeds being planted for that. He was going to be great. You know, he got it, and then he did, man, and he just took off.
Yeah. And especially like during his intercontinental days, you know, where the business wasn't as hot as it got, you know, so between him and Brett, you know, they carried that new generation.
He did. Absolutely. A great observation. And him and Diesel, and, you know, Diesel came around because of him, and him versus Razor. I got a question for you guys. Did he have great matches with anybody except his buddies? I mean, the answer is yes, of course he did. But I mean, if you think about all the matches he had, I think those matches consistently were at least 3 stars.
Yeah.
I can't think of a match against Diesel, Razor, the Kid, or Triple H that was less than a 3-star match.
Or Razor.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
exactly.
boat.
Exactly,
Yep.
right?
Cena, Jericho, who else? McMahon. I mean, McMahon was
you're talking overall. I mean, in that 90s era when it was just those guys were the ones running the show, really. And
Taker
was okay. I would say Taker was a good upper card guy. He wasn't Undertaker at this point. You know, like people don't really remember. Not that Taker wasn't fantastic, but Taker didn't get that mythical or that level of being Undertaker until like maybe 10 years ago.
No,
Because even like during the streak, it wouldn't like, he was fighting guys like Mark Henry. He was fighting guys like Batista. Like, so he was having matches against guys that like may have really threatened him. Like, obviously he lost, and it is what it is. But like, you got to a point where it's like, yeah, there's nobody beating him. Whereas 10 years prior to that, and that's where in the mid 90s, Undertaker was great, but he wasn't the Undertaker that he is now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just sorry, I just thought another good match for
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was against Stone Cold at King of the Ring 97.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that lately, but I watched that not long ago, and that's still holds up.
I think we got a match to recommend. Last week it was Bret Hart versus Ricky Steamboat. Now we got a match: Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold at the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Two matches to recommend.
What's the other one, Mr. Sorensen?
Or maybe three.
No, just one.
McMahon Michaels at 22.
Come on, like seriously, if you're watching this and you haven't seen that,
Yeah, but nobody's going out of their way to watch a Vince match.
no.
Nowadays, I mean, Shawn went over. So I mean, if someone wants to see McMahon get his teeth kicked in, maybe. But if not, okay, Flair, Michaels at 24.
That's better.
Thanks, Jimmy.
I said two. I said possibly two. I didn't say exactly two, but
What do we got for questions, Ben?
Adam, did you have any final comments about Shawn before we did the questions?
Way to usurp my flow of the show, Mr. Ben. So okay, I appreciate that. First,
No,
you tell me Shawn Michaels isn't as good as Brett. Now you taking over? Come on, brother.
Well, I got the NWO shirt on today
I
for a
was
reason.
gonna say
Michaels did
you got
join.
the heart.
Michaels did join the NWO in 2002.
Hey, Jimmy, are we getting bored too? Are we too boring for you?
No,
No. What else you watching?
Michaels Taker at 26.
Why?
That was a great match.
Is it a live reaction or?
I mean, if you're gonna give us some good content, then do it. But I mean,
Oh, Michaels 26. Michaels and Taker at 26 was
Yeah, but
Michael's Swan.
Jimmy, here's an idea. How about we finish our podcast and then you watch the wrestling?
It's
like
not.
it.
I mean, I just came up with it.
You blew my mind with that one, Ben.
Why are you giving me shit?
Thank God we're all sitting down.
I am watching. I'm not even watching it. It's like it's just occasional. That's all I'm doing. I'm not.
Jimmy, if we didn't think you could if we didn't think you could contribute, I put you on no video and just say go watch your match. But you contribute, so we want to keep you on here. That's why we give you a hard time, my friend.
So this is the grilling Jimmy section of the show.
All right. If you want to talk about it later, we can talk about it later off camera.
I wasn't trying to bring it. You guys brought it up. It was you guys called me out on it for some reason.
This is great content.
Hi. For some reason, it's hi. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Jefferson.
Oh my
I've been here the whole time, man.
Hey,
No,
he's
I
been
mean-
there.
Okay,
Because you weren't here
Adam,
last.
final thoughts. Adam, final thoughts on HBK.
Final thoughts.
Sorry, Mike. I'm taking over.
All right.
No, Shawn definitely goes down, as Bruce Prichard would say, definitely top five. Top five for sure. It's one of those things where when I go through some of the older stuff on Peacock, I'm not going to skip a Shawn Michaels segment or match or anything like that for sure. So definitely one of my faves. We'll always stop and watch his stuff.
So for the record, what just happened was you stopped the show's flow just so Adam could tell us something we already knew about Shawn Michaels, that he's the best. So thank you.
Look,
But at least he's concentrating on what we're doing.
I am the John Madden of this show, Mike. I point out the obvious. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm saying, no, that's good. That's great. I'm glad. But
I feel like we're the
Jimmy.
Beatles and Yoko Ono's hanging around somewhere, and Mike gets that one.
Don't give her a mic.
Here's a good question for you guys. Also, joking aside, and I love I'm liking the banter here. But like, depending on what era you guys kind of grew up in, were you guys more NWO or more DX? Like, did you think they were more similar, or did you think they were more a little like? I'll give you an example. I thought DX and the NWO were kind of different factions, whereas I think they're looked at as similar just because of who was in it. I really see DX more as a sophomoric, just a group that just wants to cause chaos, not necessarily destroy stuff, where the NWO, they wanted to take over wrestling. So what did you guys think of DX versus NWO?
I was more of a DX fan because I felt that they were an extension of Stone Cold's behavior. Like just like you said, causing chaos. So I thought that kind of went hand in hand.
Like I felt like they were the guys that would walk around and go, nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. just like, what he said about you. That's what he said about you too. What he's like, just fucking in your ear.
Poking the bear.
Poking the bear, poking the bear, poking the bear. Like that's, whereas the NWO was just like, no. Like you're done. Like, no, we're done with all this. Like, no, I'm done. I'm taking over. Yeah. So that's where I thought, and I'll also liken it to like the Legion of Doom and Demolition. Like I never thought they were similar. I thought that the Demolition was their own thing, and the Legion of Doom was their own thing. And that's kind of what I thought DX was, is they were just kind of their own thing.
Yeah, I was because of when I started watching, definitely more DX. I didn't really know who NWO is until I started getting more into the history of pro wrestling. Seeing fans at shows wear NWO shirts even when the NWO didn't exist anymore and things like that. And, if I were old enough to have been watching wrestling when all that was going on, I lived in Connecticut. I lived in prime A WWF territory. So I'd still think, even if I were a kid watching that then, probably still would have been DX, just because that's the hometown promotion right there.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy, DX and WO.
Like I'm 4 years younger than Jefferson, Mr. Jefferson. So like I agree. Like I didn't necessarily get the same appreciation of the NWO at live. I had to go back and kind of watch stuff on YouTube back in the day, and then Peacock, then the network, then Peacock. But now it's just, I'd say like I was able to live through two of DX's reiterations with from 06 to 7 and then 2009's reiteration. So DX was probably more long-term influential to me than NWO has been, just because I was able to watch the reiterations, and then Shawn Michaels just being the complete factor in a lot of that, to the point where just DX superior to NWO. Sorry, Bobby D. Shout out to Bobby Duncan.
All right, cool. Ben, what kind of questions we got today?
We have several questions today. So first one's from Mike Whitaker of the Kick Out Crew. most fans say that Shawn Michaels is 1 or 2 next to Flair. With that, what version do you think was a better wrestler, either before 98 or after he returned at 02?
I'll take that one. I think Shawn Michaels was a better storyteller when he came back, but he was a better wrestler before that. Like, I think he put everything together when he came back after 2002, but I think he was a better wrestler before that, because he could do, before his back went out, he could do everything. Now he definitely could do everything again at later on. That's it.
Has limitations.
Okay. Next up, Mr. Alcarai says, what could have been with the Rockers had they stayed together? So I know that they won the tag titles, but they had that issue where one of the ring ropes broke and they didn't televise that match. But I think they would have been heavy hitters in the tag team championship game for sure.
Oh,
What do you guys think?
Oh, heck yeah. Love the Rockers.
Yeah,
who do they
they were
face?
game changers.
Who do they face again? That if they would have went.
A Hart
I believe
Foundation.
it was the Hart Foundation.
Okay, I'll blame Brett.
Yeah.
I'll blame Brett.
Oh my God, Jimmy.
Next question. I'm
All
just
right.
kidding.
Oh man.
So next
He's turning over right now.
next question, also from Mr. Alcarai, was his run in DX the best HBK, or was it the run after he sobered up? So again, similar to what Mike asked just before, do we reckon DX, like the first version of DX?
Nah,
Or
he's better.
after-
He's just a better man the second time around.
Great.
Devin Nitro Pepsi Dowling is up next. He's got 3 questions. First one is, what's your favorite HBK match? So just rapid fire.
Unsanctioned match against Triple H, SummerSlam 02.
I'll
Nice.
take that. You guys?
Well, I'll do Mankind versus Shawn Michaels just because we were talking about it before.
Flair Michaels 24.
Sweet.
Perfect. Okay, his next question is, who was Shawn's greatest rival? I'm going to say it was Brett.
I think it was Razor. To me, it was Razor. Jimmy,
Jericho.
that's a great one.
Okay, yeah.
Martin Jericho.
Best friends do it best, Triple H.
Yeah.
All right. You can't really get that question wrong.
No.
Devin's last question. If Shawn could have a tag team championship run with one active wrestler, who would you pick? And don't say Sammy Guevara.
One, Sammy Guevara sucks, but
I'd like to see him and Gargano.
What about you guys?
LA Knight.
All right, Jimmy, what did you say?
This is a tough one because it's one of them. I don't know if they're wrestling anymore, but the Brian Kendrick, I thought he went to that school, to Michael's school in 2000. If not him, Brian
I think I think he was doing something in Impact or the NWA. I think the NWA not that long ago.
But just because I thought he went to Michael's school in 2000.
Yeah.
He's been around. Steve Brian Kendrick's been around since 2003 at least on TV, WTV. So I thought he went to that school, but Brian Kendrick or Brian Danielson, because of that whole, because that's more notable. The Brian Danielson Michaels relationship of a teacher and then tag team and then having a feud would have been great. Would have been great.
Right. No, I hear
Okay.
you. Not too shabby.
All right. Next up, Brad Stanton. Do you like seeing Shawn on NXT now? And also, do we want to see one more Sweet Chin music?
Yes and yes.
Yeah, yes and yes.
Yep.
Oh, hell
All right.
yeah.
I thought he was going to give one to Grayson Waller when they were doing that feud.
I thought that was gonna be good. I thought so too.
Yeah.
All right.
He was just one side note on that. Just I thought because Grayson was so great on the mic and just so in Sean's face, I thought it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Who's more annoying, Austin Theory or Grayson Waller?
No, Grayson.
They're
I
both,
like them both, but like
they're
Grayson's
both
gonna
great heels because they both want to see them get their faces kicked off. So they're both great heels.
MJ.
All right. Up next, first time we have a question from him is Denovius. And
Obvious, thank you.
yeah, he asks, did HBK's absence play a part in determining if he is 1A or 1B? So that 4-year gap.
I think it played a part because if he didn't go away, and no, actually, let me rephrase that. I think it played a part because he got a chance to relax and rest and have that second comeback. So I think that it played a part because he allowed his body to rest, and there's no rule that says he has to do it consistently over the course of 4 or 5 years. The fact that I don't think Shawn Michaels had a bad match in his life.
I mean, he did like a few things on the independents, but actually in 98 to 90 to 2000 or 2000, he was the commissioner, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
WWF. So I mean, we still kind of got to see Michaels in that era of like whether not necessarily it's like we saw him like I think twice as like a referee in that entire time, but other than that, like he did a lot more segments than matches, and that gave his body enough time to heal. I feel like by the grace of God. And then
All right.
super kick.
Another first time question here from Lindsay, the Cupcake Girl. So shout out to Lindsay for her recent engagement. That's awesome news.
Congrats, Linz.
And she asks, can you set me up with a one-time hall pass with Shawn Michaels? So I thought that was worth bringing up. So if anyone knows Shawn Michaels out there,
put a good word in for you.
yeah. All right, last up, Mike Whitaker. Very controversial question, this one. If Pizza Hut made a Shawn Michaels pizza, what would be on it?
Pepperoni.
I have a feeling this is going to be a new thing from him because he debuted this question last week.
Pepperoni. It'd be like a white sauce with like pepperoni. So you get the red and the white. Little maybe olives, you get the black sprinkled in there. So I'd say like almost like an everything. Yeah, like pepperoni, peppers, olives, but with like white sauce instead of like marinara sauce.
Like
Okay.
like a supreme pizza, but like with marinara.
Exactly.
Not marinara.
And what
It's
and what
Alfredo.
about we name it? What about we name it the Heartbreaker?
The heartbreak, I like that. Or the heart clogger.
Heartbreak pizza.
I like the heartbreak.
All right.
So if we're doing all right, so if we're gonna let's hope let's hope not Adam. Let's hope Whitaker keeps doing this every week. So we'll have our pizza Zip Codes Bros pizza place. So the heartbreaker is gonna be a supreme pizza with white sauce instead of marinara, right?
Alfredo.
After a year, we'll write all this down. After a year, we'll open a pizza place up with different names.
Yep.
What was last week? What did we decide going on the Bret Hart pizza?
Maple syrup and Canadian bacon.
That's
Oh, that's
right. That's right. Maple syrup, Canadian bacon.
Maybe some corn on that pizza. I don't know why I'm thinking.
And JD reckons to add sour grapes to the Bret Hart pizza.
That's right.
What kind of pizza is this?
Well, What's that, AJ?
Said, what kind of pizza is this? No one's gonna order that.
That's why.
I mean,
Hey, look,
I'm
Whitaker
not-
asked the question and we have to answer it. So that's
I mean,
how,
that's
how it
fair.
goes.
Well,
Like,
what's great about
Yeah.
making that pizza is you don't have all you got to do is keep syrup around. You keep syrup, Canadian bacon, and sour grapes around. That's all you got to do. Just keep them around, and then you put them on the pizza. That's all.
And you know what I just thought of is if you go and order a Bret Hart pizza and you get a Shawn Michaels one, that's like a Montreal Screwjob kind of deal.
Oh man, that's right.
an upgrade though.
You
Where
should
you
do
think you're getting one thing and then they do the swerve.
I like it. You should actually call the pizza the Montreal Screw Job. So you order something and you never get what you order.
Yes.
That's why.
Yep.
I'm writing this stuff down, man.
It's a business opportunity waiting to be taken.
right. And the three
Got
people
it.
that listen
I
to
would
this,
vouch-
maybe they can reach out to us if they have any ideas.
I will vouch for this. Gallagher is an amazing cook.
Oh,
So
thank you, sir.
yeah, so that, I mean, if we do this, Gallagher is our chef.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I cooked dinner for these guys when we were in San Antonio.
You can
Me,
take
Bob,
Oh.
me, BBD, and Michael Gallagher the third.
Yeah, that's right.
We
All
can
right,
take
so that's it for the questions.
All right. James, you got it from the heart from us today that you're not watching. Maybe you can pay attention to us for 5 more minutes today.
I was watching. I've been thinking.
Over here. We're over here.
No,
Oh, loves us.
Hey, what are your thoughts for the week? Anything from the heart this week?
just check on your loved ones. Just continuing to think about the loss of our dear friend Josh Odom. I may not have agreed with his producing style sometimes, but amazing individual. I've had a chance to talk to him on a Zoom style similar to this, and he and I had a good conversation together. And just check on your loved ones. Never take anyone for granted. Just I can't say enough that do spend time as much as you can with the people that matter to you the most. Whether in our case attend wrestling events or just passing down memories to the younger generation.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That being said, I do actually have one thing to show.
Yes, please.
So
Is your ass one of those things you're ready to show?
no,
He's got the chair.
Uh-oh.
this
Ooh.
is I got this at WrestleCon and at Royal Rumble this last year. They were selling this. And I was surprised because I really enjoyed this show. More underappreciated SummerSlams, but I wanted to go, but I wanted to watch it. I never got to, but this, like I said, this is probably one of the first this is the first SummerSlam that I was invested in. And on the front is Michaels and Triple H roasting weenies for the biggest party of the summer as we're heating up into the summer. I thought it was kind of appropriate to bring that in just because like I said, wrestling has been, I've said this time and time again, wrestling has been at the forefront of my existence, I guess, since I was 8 years old. And I've had the privilege a couple of weeks ago, I had my mom helping me and just she's been one of my biggest supporters with wrestling. And shout out to my mother, who in about a month actually turns 52.
Happy birthday, Jimmy's mom.
Yeah.
We got a chance to see on a Zoom call a couple weeks ago. We got a chance to meet her, so that was pretty fun.
But just don't take anyone for granted. And just know that bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
So you'll last forever.
Mhm.
Thanks. Sweet. So we are gonna revamp Mike's Music Corner again because I just can't seem to get it right. So stay tuned for that. Ben and I have an idea that I think will be something that will be nice as bonus content. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, my brother was listening to Russian opera today. And in honor of my brother, because I was just listening to him and talking to him, check out Rimsky-Korsakov, a Russian composer. He did Flight of the Bumblebee and some other stuff that is very similar if you listen to it. So check it out.
So Gallagher, just quickly on that, I just want to know why this composer was in a hurry. Because you said that he was Russian. I just want to know why.
So this is a great segue into Jonesy's jokes.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah. I was generally curious, but anyway.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask him next time I talk to him.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Why did the chicken go to the gym? To work on its pecs. So that's yeah. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired. I'm going to edit in some laughs or something, I think.
Left track.
All right. What concert costs just 45 cents? It's 50 Cent featuring Nickelback. Do the Scott Steiner maths. You know, I used to hate facial hair, but you know, they don't grow on me. All right, last one, and I'll put you out of your misery.
Thank you.
Why can't you hear a psychiatrist using the bathroom? Because the P is silent. So think about the word and how it's spelt, and the P is silent. So that's my Jonesy's jokes.
Mr. Jones, did you enjoy the one I tagged you on Facebook with? You and Mr.
I did.
Ben?
Yeah, that was quite good.
Do you want to read that?
Oh, okay. Bonus content. Here we go. And we just bring that up. Why can't you trust a burrito? Because it will just spill the beans. Waka, waka, waka. Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Sorry.
No, that's a little against. We don't have that copyrighted.
Sorry, Mr. Bama.
Just saying, we don't have that.
We don't need another April Fool's joke. Sorry, Mr. Bama.
Well, this has been an episode. I'll tell you that. Talked about Shawn Michaels, Jimmy snuggling over there with his SummerSlam chair. AJ, I hope you're okay. Not sure why you're off camera.
Muted. Oh, please, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
he's back.
There he is. So this has been an episode. I think, you know, every week we get a little bit differently. So, you know, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for your questions. We have a lot of fun with them. So just keep them coming. We really appreciate you guys watching and playing along with us and just, you know, joining the show. And
I think we're up to 8. I think we're up to 8 viewers now instead of 7. So
I love it. I love it.
Shout out to those 8.
Thank you. And hey, it's 8. 8's good. 8's good. Maybe next week we'll have 10 or 9. So it gets nicer and nicer.
Slow down, buddy.
Let's
Well,
slow
we're
the train
slowly
down.
we're slowly improving our audio format sort of stuff. So
Yeah. Anybody do
Definitely.
anything good this weekend other than SmackDown?
went and saw the new Mario movie with my niece.
How'd you like it?
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. My niece was like, "They have to make a second one. They had to."
Oh, I guarantee you they'll make some They'll probably make a second Mario movie.
And then peaches, 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 peaches.
It was funny.
We
Did you watch that with your boys yet, Ben?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I took them. Yeah, awesome.
That's a fun match. Did you get a chance to see that, AJ?
not yet. I think now that it's streaming somewhere and all that, we'll get a chance to watch it now.
That's cool. And for any of you guys who got Prime Video, that new movie Air about the Air Jordan is on there, which was I got a chance to watch that yesterday, which I really, really enjoyed.
So what you're saying is I have access to it. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher.
You do have access to it, yes, you do. It's called Air. It's with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It's about the Air Jordan, and you know me, sneakers, Jimmy. So
He's got too many shoes.
I got 12 pairs of Air Jordans in my closet right now.
That's not the only thing in his closet.
What else is in my closet?
Skeletons. I was making a joke. It was a bad joke.
I know what you're getting, yeah, but
I'll leave the dad jokes to Ben.
seriously,
Was that a dad
everybody
joke
with
though?
bad dad jokes. Was it a dad joke or just a bad joke?
Bad
I'd
joke.
Bad.
say bad. Yeah,
Definitely bad.
no bones about it.
Oh,
about-
look at you! Oh, look at you! All right, Adam, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter for the personal stuff at the ARJ brand, the coaching stuff at Coach A Jefferson, and you can find my solo podcast, Just One Man's Thoughts, at Just Thoughts Pod.
All right, Mr. Sorensen.
At OG James ad free. My actual last name is Sorensen. Some people was like, I thought your last name was ad free. On the Twitter. No, it's my Twitter handle is yes at ad free. OG James ad free, but my last name is actually Sorensen. But on the Twitter, little Jimmy Sorensen 97 on Instagram. Friend request me on Facebook. So good to have Mr. Jefferson back. For last week he wasn't available, so we had Mr. Davis. Thank you again, Mr. Justin Davis, for gracing us with your presence on the Bret Hart episode. No, we all had fun with that. Missed you, Adam, though. Really did.
Miss y'all too. Glad to be back. Back's feeling a lot better, that's for sure.
Cool. All right, Ben, where can we find you?
On Twitter at AFS Ben Jones, and also on Twitter at Zipcode Bros. So shoot us your questions, comments, whatever you want.
Cool. Check us out on YouTube, and Ben posts the link and Facebook group every week. So check that out. Follow us on YouTube. Watch it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you do have to see Jimmy Sorensen, so I don't know if you always want to watch it, but you get to see the rest of us, and that's not bad. And Ben always looks good with his accent coming out. It's awesome. You got Mr. Jefferson. He's got one of the best beards I've ever seen in my life. And like I said, you got to see Jimmy once in a while. It's not the end of the world.
Mr. Gallagher is not growing a facial hair.
No, this is coming off this weekend. So, but no, Jimmy, we love you. In all seriousness, we just love busting your balls. But from here to Zip Code Bros, you can find me at Mike Gurr, MikeGRR 09005 on the Twitter. And you can find me on Facebook at Michael Gallagher. Just look up for me. But we will be here we don't know when our next topic is going to be. What do y'all think our next topic should be?
Triple H.
You want to do Triple H?
I do. And
All right.
So we're going to do next week.
You're the only person who pronounces it like, hey, hey, hey.
It's Triple H is Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley or Paul Levesque. Let's do a Paul Levesque episode.
Era Rising.
All right, we'll do terrorizing episode. I like it.
Brilliant.
That'll be a short episode.
All right, perfect. No, that sounds great. I like it. So next week, Tune in for Triple H, as William Regal likes to say. So from here, the Zip Code Bros. Have a great night.